Welcome to Uncovering My Voice, the Christian talk show where we listen to your story. So, September is Deaf Awareness Month. Now, we want to use our platform to share some deaf culture with you, my audience. So, we want to create some awareness. We want to talk about the strengths, the weaknesses, and all the problems that are involved in creating inclusive environment for the deaf person. So, today I'm going to have with me Jamal Green, and our interpreter will be Karen Diaz. So, remember, if you like this conversation, share with a friend. And more than all, let's hear your story. Okay, so like I said in my intro, I have a special guest today. His name is Jamal Green. Jamal, welcome
Thank,
to the show.
thank you.
You're welcome. And I have also with me our resident interpreter, Karen Diaz. Karen, welcome. And thank you for providing this service for us today. All right. I am going to jump right in and I'm going to ask Jamal. Tell us, Jamal, who is Jamal?
My name is Jamal Green. I identify as deaf. And do you have some questions for me?
I do. So, Jamal, when did you become deaf?
I became deaf as a baby. I was about 2 or 3 months old. I lost my hearing. We went to the audiologist and they found that I had failed the hearing test and that I was deaf.
Oh, so you lost your hearing as a baby. So, how then were you able to learn sign language?
I went to a deaf school in kindergarten, and
Oh.
that's where I learned sign language. I was about 4 or 5 years old though, and I didn't know any sign language. So I learned it at the deaf school.
Okay. Okay. Do your parents know sign language?
Not really. They understand finger spelling and we use home signs.
Oh,
And we also use technology as well, text to voice.
okay. So, do you,
So we use the phone and home signs, but not American Sign Language.
oh, okay. Okay. How was that? Did you find that to be a bit of a challenge?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, Jamal, you are a member of a church. You're a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, am I right?
Yes, I grew up Adventist, but there was never interpreters in the church services. Yesterday there was finally a sign language interpreter in church,
Oh, okay.
which was great. I'd like to be more involved in the church.
Okay, so that's pretty warming for my heart, and this primarily why I invited you to this channel to create this awareness because I met you at church, and I know that we don't normally have sign language interpreters at church. So, other than yesterday, how has it been when you go to church? Because I know you go to church on a regular basis.
So events at church, there are interpreters for events at church. For example, deaf awareness. But there's no interpreters for the church services. So I have to try and communicate a different way.
How?
I do the text to voice in church service, and some people know a little bit of sign language.
So you just kind of turn the sound on and let the phone listen to it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
I prefer sign language
Yeah.
rather than having to read it.
Okay. Because when you have to spend time to read everything, you don't get to see what's going on because you're focused on reading. Yeah,
True.
yeah. So do you,
Yeah, so when I read it, and I also look at the pastor and look up and see what's going on, but I much prefer a sign language interpreter.
for sure. Oh, for sure, for sure. Okay, Jamal, do you work?
Yes. I work in Mississauga. It's called Rockwool Wool Quality Control.
So do you have interpreters at work?
No, not really. Just for meetings, and that's it. I don't really need an interpreter because I know what to do. For communication, I also use the text to voice.
Okay. So at work, do you have an opportunity to interact with your coworkers and so on, or you just have to be by yourself all the time?
I use more gestures at work. But I have to focus on work,
Okay.
really. I mean, I enjoy socializing. I try and talk to people and joke around.
Oh, okay. Because you're a pretty funny guy. Earlier you were
Yeah.
laughing off. Yeah, you're a pretty funny guy, and I like trying to talk with you. You know, I don't do a lot of sign language, but y'all know that I like sign language. But when I'm around Jamal, I get to learn the real culture and how they actually sign stuff. Because Jamal signs ASL, but I sign English, right? So it's a little bit of a difference in the culture. So I get to learn some stuff from him. Jamal, you drove here today.
Yes.
So we didn't know that you could drive. We thought it was not allowed. Tell us about that.
I am deaf and I can drive. I started driving at 21, but deaf people, we can see everything. Same as people that can hear. The only thing is we can't hear.
So that's one of the myths that we just debunked because there's a lot of people who feel like because if you're deaf, you cannot drive. It's a handicap and you're not allowed to drive, right? So he just let us know that that's not true. So we get rid of that myth right away. They are allowed and they can drive because they can see, and that's all you need really is to be able to see.
Absolutely. And one other thing, um, the word handicapped,
Yes.
hearing impaired, those types of words are offensive to deaf people. We prefer the word deaf. Handicap means, you know, it doesn't really suit being deaf. It means being handicapped means you can't do certain things, but we can do everything. We just can't hear. Deaf people can do everything people that can hear can do.
We just debunked another myth, because it's good to hear directly from Jamal, because he helps us to understand some of the things that annoys, the culture, because we just assume what we assume. We don't ask questions, but they don't like to be referred to as those words that he used earlier. So he likes to be called deaf. That there's no problem with that. So from now on, we refer to him as deaf. Hearing impaired, there are some people who are. He is not. He's deaf. All right. So we will continue to use the terms that are appropriate. Right. Thank you very much for that.
And also, yeah, also, signed English and American Sign Language are completely different. So the word order is different, and it's a different language.
Yeah.
English is more longer.
Yes.
It follows the word order, whereas sign language is not.
Yes. That is why we have interpreters. And especially in Canada, you're not allowed to interpret for a deaf person in a public environment. You have to have a licensed interpreter. So this is why we had to have Karen on the show, because otherwise we would be going against principles and practices, and it would be an offense also to Jamal to try to talk to him in English when he doesn't do English.
Right, I agree. And yeah, if you're not hiring qualified interpreters, then it's not clear, and it's better to hire licensed qualified interpreters so that deaf people can understand.
Yeah.
Signing English Sign Language is difficult to understand.
Okay. Oh, okay. So one time we had a function at my church, and you were there. You were more the focus of the function. You also made mention to the fact that most teachers of sign language are hearing people. What was the concern with that?
Well, they can make all kinds of errors. People that can hear shouldn't be teaching sign language. They should be hiring deaf people to teach sign language because it's their language. So that the communication is clear. If people that can hear teach sign language, there can be a lot of errors in the communication. For example, the way that strawberries, for example, the sign for strawberries, it can be executed incorrectly in the wrong way. This is the sign for computer. It can be done, there can be errors in how it's done. And there's all kinds of examples, but.
So you're saying that that's kind of tough, because we don't have enough deaf persons who are able to teach sign language. You know what I mean? And especially in our classrooms.
People that can hear look online. For example, let me get something up for you. Lingvano, the app, it can help people that can hear with sign language.
Right.
they can take classes at George Brown College. There's sign language courses there.
That's for people that can hear?
Yes, George Brown College.
So do they have deaf teachers teaching at George Brown College?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, you have been giving us debunking the myths and told us a couple of the challenges. Well, we want to hear something positive. We want you to teach us a few sign language cultures, deaf culture in sign language.
For example, getting a deaf person's attention, you would tap them on the shoulder. Eye contact is important. To also get a deaf person's attention, you can bang on a desk. You can turn the lights off and on. There's lots of ways to get a deaf person's attention. And when you're in front of a deaf person and you're trying to communicate with them, or if if deaf people are communicating and you're trying to walk past them, you don't have to duck. You can just walk right past them.
Why is that? Why do we?
Because it's actually distracting.
Okay.
So you can just walk right past in between deaf people that are signing.
Okay.
Or people that are communicating.
Okay. So you want us to tap or bang on the desk or flick the lights on or off if we want to get your attention. Okay. Yeah. I like that. And how do you show people you are appreciative of them? In hearing culture, we applaud, we clap. How do you show appreciation in deaf culture?
This is how you clap in sign language.
Can you do this again? Okay. So yeah, I like this. It shows that we appreciate you. This morning when you came in, with my limited sign language, I was like saying, "How are you?" Can you tell me how to say that in deaf culture?
Just like that. How are you? How?
Okay.
You.
Ah, I learned something new. Thank you so much. All right. Tell us also, how do you talk about your name? Because I know you said your name is Jamal. Tell the hearing audience how you name yourselves.
I got my sign name from my past deaf teachers in the deaf school.
But how do deaf people, what are the things that you use to create your sign name?
For example, if someone has a scar on their face, the sign name would reflect that. So physical characteristics, somebody that may have long hair. So
that's like Mary. We use a hair for Mary.
Yeah. King, Lord.
There is
something unique.
Okay, something unique.
But it's not English. It's a part of the culture.
A part of the culture. For example, my name is Karen, is Koren, but I like to say that I'm beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Karen, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, beautiful. Yep, that's beautiful with the K.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And yep, just like that.
Yeah. I noticed you do. What is that?
Nice.
Oh, nice.
It'd be nice.
Okay, 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 okay. All right. So, Jamal, there are viewers watching, and some people might be deaf. There are others who might not be deaf who would like to do something that is, you know, helping to create awareness of the deaf community in our environment, in our churches, in our schools, and so on. What is something that you would love to see happening in our churches or even in our workplace that you think would help to bring about better inclusiveness in our environment? Deaf inclusiveness.
I would advise deaf people to get involved. I would advise people that can hear to not neglect deaf people. I would advise deaf people to, be proactive. Try to gesture. If some people know a little bit of sign language, that's great.
Teach them some more, right? Help them to learn some more.
Right. I agree. Yep.
Okay. So, is there something you think that they can do more in the church that could, you know, we don't have interpreters in our churches every Sabbath or every Sunday, but how can they help you to get a better experience if you decide to be at church?
Well, hiring sign language interpreters. That way I'd be more aware of the ministries.
Yeah.
Planning for events, planning on having deaf people involved in the events.
Pretty impressive. I think he speaks volumes, and it's been a long time coming that by now, we should have an interpreter in our services every week. People are watching online and they are struggling because they have to be focusing on reading. They can't really enjoy the beauty of the services.
He's saying they think that interpreters are expensive and the church has to pay, but some interpreters are free on the Sabbath.
Oh. Okay, that's something we could look into. I think I didn't realize that something, but even if they are at a cost, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. So maybe there needs to be a little more lobbying on your side. Guys need to put more energy into getting the conferences to step up their game. You know, put something in place for these. Maybe not every church. We only need the interpreters where you are or where somebody's deaf is. Would you say?
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened.
So we've
been trying.
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened.
So maybe you and I, Jamal, will need to join forces in ensuring that there's an interpreter at your church every week.
Yeah, I wish.
No, we can join forces. We can start lobbying and we can start going to the powers that be and have them bring an interpreter in every. We have Karen here. She's an interpreter. Maybe we can get her to come to our church where you are every Sabbath. So that's something we can look into for sure because we want everybody to be a part of the service. You know what I mean? So, we're going to wind down. Is there anything you want to share with our viewers Is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers today?
Um, yeah, I would just say communication access, to having sign language interpreters. I don't go to church much because, I mean, I work on the weekends, but when I'm off work,
You'd love to go to church.
yes.
Okay, okay. All right. So there you have it, from our own Jamal. It is such a refreshing, it's so refreshing to be able to have him sitting next to me on this channel, because we are used to just having people who can hear and talk. And now it's so refreshing to have him come on and to talk about his culture and who he is. Isn't he fun? He's very funny. Before, he was just giving us a lot of joke and we were just busting up in here. But Jamal,
Yes.
we do appreciate you coming to share about deaf culture.
Thank you.
And I know it's very, intimidating and you are a little bit nervous, but we really enjoyed
Yes.
having you. And we do enjoy having Karen as well. She's made it fun too. Look, he's about to laugh again, but that's okay. That's
Yes.
okay. We want to thank you for coming in.
I'm controlling it
Yeah,
though.
controlling it. Okay. So we want to thank you both for coming in today to share with us on this Deaf Awareness Month. I do hope that you watching will find something that resonates with you. We know that if you want to have Jamal on your show, you or have Jamal come to your church, you can contact me and I will pass it on to him. But like we said, if you like this conversation, please subscribe to my channel, share with a friend, and let's hear your story. Let's hear what you have to say. As usual, from Uncovering My Voice, we're going to say, help me, bye. And